Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Justice Now. My name is Leah Jones, and I am the Education Organizing Coordinator here at Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. Before we get started today, as usual, I'd like to do a brief land acknowledgement. While we are on a video call and many of us are joining in from different places, we want to remind ourselves that we gather on the unceded land of the indigenous peoples. I am joining in from so-called Richmond, Virginia, and I am currently located on the land of the Powhatan and Chickahominy peoples. If you are unsure whose land you are on and would like to find out, you can always visit native-land.ca to find out. So thank you all so much for joining us for this week's special episode of Environmental Justice Now. This week we decided to do something a bit different for the show by taking it on the road to participate in VAIPL's Ride the Bus Week. The intention of Ride the Bus Week is to highlight the importance of public transit by urging people in the GRTC service area to choose a bus ride for shopping, work, or an outing, or any other reason during this week of May 23rd to the 27th. At VIPL, we really believe that public transportation is genuinely an important common good. A robust public transit service can really significantly improve the quality of life for all of our neighbors here throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. So with this event, we really felt like Ride the Bus Week was a great opportunity to also hear more from regular JRTC riders about their thoughts on the bus, how often they ride, and just any changes they would like to make to improve their experience, or GRTC to make to improve their experience. We were able to record some of the conversations that we had at the bus stops earlier just today. And we would actually like to share some of that footage with you all now so that you can also hear firsthand. How often do you ride the bus?
I would say every day. I don't have a car, so it's my main mode of transportation.
Okay, every day. And so do you feel like you just ride like shorter routes, or do you use it to take longer routes as well, like around the city?
So I work at the hospital, so I mainly go down to like the MCP station. I have tried attempting to take the bus to like Target and Wilmington, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great. It's quite a commute, and recently there have been so many closures due to marathons, events, graduation, the paving of the road, which I understand are all necessary, but those aren't communicated well in advance.
Mhm.
So there are times when I'm really desperate to get to work, and they're like, "Oh no, this whole street is closed today, so you can just walk there." And I'm like, "Okay."
Totally throwing a wrench in my plan.
Yeah.
Right. So where are you headed today?
Today I'm going to Main Street Station.
Oh.
Going to DC.
Travel.
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend. And then I just have one more question, which was just, what do you feel like could be useful improvements for the bus system here in Richmond? Like, do you think there should be more shelters, benches, more routes, that sort of thing?
I think more routes would be helpful, or just even if it's through like physical posters, communicating when there are any major route changes that will affect the commuting schedule, especially if it's just like either an extended thing or a one-time thing, would be really helpful. I know that there are like signboards and postings over here that could be added. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because unless I check the GRTC Code's website, it's really hard to know what is happening. You don't have like a social media or anything, so I think it's inaccessible for some riders, because there are some more senior members of the community who use the bus, and when there are changes in schedule, they have absolutely no idea what's happening. So they'll ask the bus driver, and most of them are pretty helpful.
Yeah.
But sometimes even the drivers don't really know what the new routes are. Like when they were paving broad, if I was trying to get to like the Science Museum or Aldi, there was like a whole rerouting system, and most of the time I would just walk the rest of the
And
way.
the drivers will also be.
Yeah. I mean, they were confused too. Like,
Yeah. Okay, well, that was all the questions that we had today. And we just wanted to ask was, how often do you ride the bus?
Maybe 3 or 4 days out the week, every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you travel far, like when you ride the bus? Like, do you?
No.
Okay. so where are you headed to today?
My job, Roots on West Broad.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so my last question was if you felt like you could make improvements to the bus system, what would you say? Like, would you want more shelters, benches? Is the routes frustrating?
More benches, definitely. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's fine. I wish they would come more often, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So how often do you ride the bus?
A little bit. I just started back riding it not too long ago. I mean, it's okay. Sometimes it's frustrating, but once you know the routes, it's easy.
You feel like it's frustrating because it's hard to figure out the routes, or for other reasons too?
I mean, for other reasons too, but a lot of times just to say, like, if you miss the bus or something, then you gotta wait another 35 to 45 minutes, and then you're late for work, so. But other than that, I try not to complain, because I know it can be worse. So, other than that, it seems okay.
Okay, nice. And what stop are you headed to today? Are you going far, or are you going
Just down the street.
Okay. And then my last question was, like, if you could make any specific, like, changes, what would you do? Like, would you want there to be more shelters or, like, benches, or
Probably more benches.
Yeah, more benches.
So standing up.
After working all day. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're
That was all.
welcome.
All right.
So just from the few surveys that we were able to take today, I feel like we can see here some of the commonalities across the answers, some commonalities just across the answers that we received. So I just wanted to take a second to review some of those biggest takeaways that I felt like stood out. So some of the biggest takeaways from today that we found were maybe that overall, folks felt like the bus was fine, the bus system is fine, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. Things like increasing bus routes and how often buses come to the stop seem like a frustration across the board, especially since all of the people that we were able to speak with today use the bus as their method of transportation to make it to their jobs, which can, of course, cause a whole sort of issues of being late, not getting to work on time, like folks who were mentioned in just the clips we were sharing just a moment ago when answering our questions. In addition to bus stops not coming on time, or just increasing, or not enough buses coming often enough, I think there was a really great point made about communication between GRTC and the public. Especially when considering route changes, making sure that folks are aware of delays and route changes has been seen as challenging, especially if you're not really able to access the GRTC website or do not have social media to find those updates where they may be posting them. I love that the person from the clip mentioned in the white shirt mentioned that this could be a considerable challenge for older residents as well, who use the bus and may not always know how to access the website, find the website, or find the updates on said website, or even use social media. Or it could definitely be a challenge for those who don't use internet at all, or for those in general who may not have access to the internet. I think lastly, one of the major things that stood out as a commonality from those we were able to have conversations with today is just making the bus more rider friendly, specifically when making sure more of our bus stops here have more shelters and benches, a place where folks don't have to stand for long periods of time, especially for a bus that may be late. Coming from a long day, like, can you imagine coming from a long day of work and not being able to just have a seat, take a breath, and relax a bit can be very frustrating and makes it feel like almost like an inconvenience to ride the bus, right? So I think today has been very enlightening, and I think that Ride the Bus Week has been a really great opportunity, not only for us to get out and use our public transportation system in an effort to reduce our carbon emissions, but also learn more from our neighbors about what we want for our public transportation system and what folks would deem most useful. Making it more accessible, making it more rider friendly, making things more genuinely functional for and encouraging folks to ride the bus. That things that would encourage folks to ride the bus more often. You can see all of the videos that we shared, the clips from the videos we shared with you today, later on our transportation website. Though they may not be posted there yet, they will be soon. Along with all of our other information about VIPL's Transportation Justice Campaign. So please check out our website at the link above, listed in the comments as well, and on screen. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. As usual, we'll be back again next week with our usual time, 12 p.m. Fridays. Please be sure to join us. You can also join our newsletter, VIPL, our VIPL newsletter by searching this link here and joining our newsletter. Please be sure to tune in next week. We'll be beginning our Juneteenth series where we'll be discussing the road to liberation, especially when considering environmental and climate justice. So please be sure to check out all of our transportation resources on our webpage. And if you would like to view those videos again, once again, we'll have them up there shortly. But thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all back again next week. Thanks so much.